How's it going, guys? Trader Neil here, back at you with another crypto video. It has been a while, guys, since I last talked to y'all and made a fresh video. Had a couple of life things go on and went to my sister's wedding, so it was a great time. But I am back, and even if I haven't been active here, guys, on my YouTube channel, you guys will see me very often printing every day in my Discord servers. If you guys click on my link tree in the description below, you'll find a free Discord server called Top Tier Signals that I spend a lot of time in. And so definitely check that out if you want to hang out with me almost every day. But yeah, guys, there has been a lot going on in the market recently. Overall, the coins have been pumping, especially Bitcoin. Seeing Bitcoin over $100,000, pretty insane. And so my big thing is we are halfway through May, and the old saying goes, sell in May and go away. And I am here to tell you what I think about that and what I'm going to be doing to end this month. But before we get started, guys, I would very much appreciate it if you all like this video, subscribe to my channel at Trader Neil, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. I would very much appreciate it. It would mean a lot. And honestly, let's just jump right into it. First off, though, guys, if you guys check out my one altcoin I'm buying video from 2 weeks ago, it was Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid was sitting at about I think it was like 19 or 20 bucks at that point. And Hype is sitting at $27 today, guys. So if you all took my Hyperliquid buys that I gave you all in this video, you would be up very, very nicely. So definitely check out some of my older videos and subscribe to my channel if you want further bangers just like that. But let's start out with the crypto fear and greed index, guys, because like I said, today we're pretty much talking really closely about whether we should be selling at this point in the market cycle, selling in May. Well, couple things that I say and I see that tells me that you should be maybe focusing on maybe more selling rather than buying. Looking at the fear and greed index, here we have reached greed levels again, guys, on this chart. And so back in my last couple videos, we were sitting from this fear area pretty much from the beginning of March all the way to the mid of April. I was talking about how we were in a pretty big fear zone here, and that's why we were buying. At this point, guys, we are getting up to these greed levels. Now, we're not anywhere near extreme greed like we were at the end of 2023, like we were at all-time highs in March of 2024, and like we were at new all-time highs back at the end of November of last year. We're not anywhere close to those levels, guys, but at the same time, we are getting to a point where I think a pullback could be likely and could happen. But here's my other thing, guys. And this is why we're going to be focusing on altcoins today. We've been looking at this alt season index for a long while, right? And we've been looking at it pretty much since February. And at this point, I think this alt season index is starting to cook pretty hard, guys. And what I mean by that is we are spending a nice amount of time in this area on the alt season index. And what this tells me is I really do think coming up pretty soon we start to see this curl up from Bitcoin season and hit some of these highs back like we saw in November 2024 during alt season index. And so I'm really excited because I still think it's a good time to, let's say, buy the dip on altcoins. If we do get that dip, I will be focusing on alts. And let's just jump into some charts so I can kind of show you guys why I am going to be focusing on alts if we do get a buy the dip opportunity. And so first off, to get it out of the way, looking at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin is pushed really nicely here, guys. We're at $104,000, and pretty much BTC, ever since it put in these lows down here at 74K, has put in a beautiful move. 40% up from these lows. And really, like, overall here on BTC, we've never broken 4-hour market structure. We've been just seeing higher highs and higher lows this entire way up. And so I do think you continue to get a push here on BTC, honestly, as long as these lows here at 101 hold, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin at least tap $106,000 here. So that wouldn't surprise me one bit. However, another thing that has happened this week that I think is much more pertinent to you altcoin investors out there is Ethereum. So Ethereum has finally got some life left in it. Has finally got some life injected in it, I could say. Ethereum put in a move over the last week of 48% up, guys. It's pretty insane. Ethereum came back and hit these last summer range highs from August of 2024, which is pretty fantastic. It is really honestly good to see Ethereum start to try to push up again and start to see some life left back within it. And so overall on Ethereum, guys, I do think that after a move like this, you probably see things start to cool off. You've got some pretty heavily overbought conditions here on the 12-hour to keep in mind. But, where would I be looking at Ethereum for, a potential pullback to be able to buy? Well, I would be looking at Ethereum. So let me pull up a different chart here, fresh one for us. And then we'll go to the daily here. Overall on ETH, not only do we have those oversold conditions, guys, those overbought conditions, we also tapped the daily 200 moving average. If you look to the left too, this is a pretty big resistance level back from last summer. And so a pullback makes a lot of sense to me here. I do think a couple areas of interest stem pretty much from about 23.27 all the way down to about 21.22. I feel like that is a pretty, let's just say, like, reasonable area for a daily pullback to come down to. And I would be looking to buy more Ethereum if it comes down to this zone. Reason being, guys, is as long as Ethereum is really holding this 21.28 level on the daily, I think the probability of it pushing lower is low. And so I would want to buy a pullback to these levels. And that's where I'd be looking next. Another interesting thing here is finally, guys, we've had some sort of life come back to Ethereum Bitcoin here. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this parabola across the interwebs. But if you haven't seen it yet, this parabola, pretty much like you can consider it like a parabola downtrend, has finally broken from really the last 4 years, guys. Ever since these highs in 2021 on Ethereum Bitcoin started, this thing has put in a strong move to the downside. It's been pretty insane. So seeing this finally break back up is really important. However, a couple things that I would want to see here in Ethereum Bitcoin. You have some insane overbought conditions here. And so I am very, very in the camp of thinking this probably comes down for a retest. I really think that somewhere maybe around 0.02 Satoshis is likely for that. And then I would like to see an uptrend start to form again here. And so this is your bullish scenario to see Ethereum Bitcoin potentially put in a low and a higher low here, and then start and essentially have the beginnings of an uptrend again. And guys, this is exactly what you want to see, by the way. If you want to see Ethereum Bitcoin push to the upside, but it's also exactly what you want to see if you want altcoins to be pushing to the upside as well. Because here's the thing, if Ethereum Bitcoin can't get its own push to the upside, the likelihood of altcoins being able to do that on their own is pretty low. But if Ethereum can get a nice push up, then I really do think you get something similar with altcoins as well. And so you really want to be rooting for Ethereum Bitcoin to get a move of its own, because in that vein, you're probably going to start to see altcoins get their move at the same time then. And so that's going to be big and something to definitely watch out for. All right, guys, we're going to keep looking at some alts here and keep looking at potential buy opportunities, but quick word from my sponsor first. All right, guys, so we're going to be talking about my sponsor, Breakout Prop Firm, really quick, guys. Are you someone in crypto that has had a lack of liquidity? You're seeing all these P&Ls posted on Twitter. Your friends are flexing their P&Ls. They're flexing their dollar P&Ls. And you just want to get into that game and you want to be flexing your own P&Ls. Well, fear no more. Breakout Prop Firm is going to be that prop firm that will help you do exactly that. Because with Breakout, guys, this is essentially your way of playing with someone else's money. In fact, for just 800 bucks with a one-step evaluation, you can potentially start trading with up to $100,000 of an account size here, guys. With 100K, you could be trading big money with only putting up small risk here, guys. And in my opinion, that is the best thing you can be doing. All you have to do with buying the evaluation is past the 10K account goal, or if you get any of the smaller accounts past those account goals, all you have to do is trade to that amount. Boom, you hit that amount and bam, you get $100,000 of money to play with, and then you can have that money to be able to trade anytime. All you have to do is follow the max daily loss and max drawdown parameters, but you can trade up to 5x leverage, guys. They have tons of coins on their exchange. As you guys can see, they've got Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and they've got tons of altcoins. They list altcoins pretty much the day that they come out. And so if you guys want to trade with up to $100,000 of someone else's money and be able to trade those altcoins we'll be talking about in the rest of the video today, definitely check out Breakout Prop Firm. Here's the URL, and then use my code in the top right here to be able to get a nice discount on your evaluation. Definitely worth it. And then let me know how you guys like Breakout in the comment section below. All right, guys, back to the video. Let's keep pushing and looking at some charts. So pretty insane, by the way, to see Hyperliquid get this move back up. And so in my last video, like I mentioned, guys, I was talking about Hyperliquid here at 18.9 and how I was looking to buy spot. So far, just from that level, guys, I've given you guys a 50% move today. As of today, I mean, from that level. It's pretty dang insane. And Hyperliquid is back at previous quarter highs and current year highs as well, guys, here at 28.5. I'm going to go ahead and mark that area on my chart because I do think the likelihood of seeing Hype come to that level and getting a pullback probably pretty high. If you look at the daily RSI, this hasn't shown a bearish divergence just yet, but it is getting to those overbought conditions here, as you guys can see. And so I do think this chart is honestly poised to probably push to all-time highs at some point here, guys. All-time highs being here at $35. But honestly, with the spot that I've bought here, and hopefully some of you guys got in here at 18.9, I would start to be a little cautious here on the chart, just because at the same time, even though I believe this is going to all-time highs, being up 50% on a spot position, especially if you're in heavy, could yield you some pretty good profits. So definitely don't be afraid to take them. All right, let us keep going. So another coin that I am looking at that we printed really nicely on, if you're in any of my Discord servers, is Solana here. So in Unity in top tier, I gave Solana pretty much at these lows on spot, and we had an average price of about 110 bucks here. I have essentially sold my entire position, not gonna lie to you guys, here on Sol at 183. Just because if you're looking at this chart, guys, my difficulty with Solana here is this is a big SR level from all last summer, guys. May 2024, July 2024, and then here in October of 2024. Until I really see a good break above 183, it's going to be difficult to want to get bullish Sol here in the near term. Just because this is going to be a big SR level, and you have seen rejection from there already. And so one thing that I would be recommend you guys doing is to just be looking to potentially pick up some Sol on a pullback here. I would be looking at this level at 158 as a big level to potentially buy some Sol at. That is a nice SR level from last summer, and it is your last highs here. If you lose that level, then of course I'd probably be looking at about 120 to 124 again. But in my opinion on Sol, this is an area where I would start to be very cautious until we see a clean break back above 183 on Sol, maybe see something like this where price action retest this breakdown area from here, because this is important, come down and then successfully bounce back off of this level, I don't think I would like to be super spot long Sol until we get a push back above. And so that's what I'll say about that. One coin that I am very interested in buying on pullbacks here, guys, is Pepe coin. So Pepe has run up extremely hard from these lows here, 92% up, pretty fantastic, guys. If you guys are following me on my Twitter, I did post a Pepe BTC chart on there back here at these lows, thinking that the frog would come back, and we did get a really nice move on this chart, which I love to see. And so here on Pepe coin, just like you're seeing with a lot of these other alts, guys, you're seeing some daily overbought conditions. Now, does this mean Pepe can't make another new high similar to what you saw back here in 2024, where you had bearish divergence form before a real drop? Of course not. You could see Pepe come down, retest daily trend, and then make a new high before coming down. I think that's very possible. And honestly, guys, if we do make a new high on Pepe somewhere around this last daily level up here at around 203, I would be looking to potentially unload my bags at that point. Because, you know, getting a move from these lows to these highs, that is pretty substantial, and you don't want to be fading a move like that. But overall, if we get a pullback into this daily uptrend again, guys, somewhere about 0.11 or so on Pepe, this would be a nice place to be looking for a potential pullback on trades. And then let's look at one more altcoin before I give you guys the potential cheat code to be able to essentially figure out whether money is flowing into altcoins versus other coins. And so let's go ahead and take a look at Maker here. So I think Maker is honestly a fantastic looking chart overall, guys. So if you're just looking at Maker from this perspective, let's keep the harmonic on there. We had a beautiful 886 hit on Maker from these lows in June of 2023 to these lows in January of 2025. And overall here, you have a nice rotation back up here, guys. You have a rounded bottom, and Maker is putting in a daily higher high here at about 1900 compared to these highs at 1738. The first time Maker has put in a daily higher high like that ever since literally this uptrend back here in 2024. And so this is really good to see. Overall here on Maker, do I think this thing could pull back? Of course, I think it's possible this thing pulls back. The daily RSI isn't as overbought and extended as some of these other coins, I will say that. But at the same time, if we did get a pullback on Maker somewhere around like 1720 or so, I would start to be more interested in picking up some more spot here. But this is a great looking chart, guys. You have a higher time frame, higher low here, and with the change of structure, I could potentially see targets back around 2300, 33,000, and maybe even all-time highs sometime in the future. So keep that in mind. And then I do want to look at one more. Sorry, guys, I lied to you. There is one more coin that I would love to be able to look at with you guys, and it is Whiff coin here. So does the dog still have a hat? In my opinion, I think there is a distinct possibility the dog does get its hat back. Not gonna lie. Would I be buying Whiff at current prices? Probably not. I won't lie to you, because as you guys can see, taking a volume pull here, taking a VWAP from highs, you have a lot of stacked resistances at current price to keep in mind. But here on Whiff, this was a pretty exciting move to the upside. You pretty much retested your range lows from this entire higher time frame range, which I think is, you know, it is a good sign of strength. That is good to see. And on Whiff, really, like, it looks pretty good above about $1 here. And so if Whiff does crack above this area, then I would get a lot more bullish on this coin short term and maybe expect something like that. On the other hand, if this pulls back, I do think a move somewhere from like the golden pocket here to your last highs, about zero point 0.7 would be a great opportunity for a potential higher low. So definitely keep WIF on your radar, because if altcoin season happens and mindshare starts to come back to these coins, I think something like WIF could definitely outperform. So really quick, guys, I want to go over this cheat code that I have for you all. And this cheat code is something that one of my friends in a server showed me last week. And this is a chart to definitely keep in mind. It is Bitcoin dominance combined with USDT and USDC dominance. And so the idea here is that if you're combining Bitcoin dominance with stablecoin dominance in one chart, that means that if this is pushing to the upside, that money is flowing into stables and into Bitcoin. If this is pushing to the downside, that means money is flowing out of Bitcoin and out of stables. Now, just think about it. If money is flowing out of stablecoins and out of Bitcoin, where does it probably go? If you think closely and if you think about it directly, that means money is probably pushing into altcoins. And so what you want to see on a chart like this is a move to the downside. And so if we get a move to the downside here, that means altcoins probably do well as a result. And if altcoins do well as a result, then we are happy, right? Then we're getting what we want. And so overall here, the difficulty with that scenario is this chart is in a heavy uptrend. Ever since 2021, pretty much money has been flowing into Bitcoin and into altcoin and into USDT, which is something that you can see for the most part. This has been a Bitcoin led run, so that's not super surprising. But what I would be doing, guys, is marking out this 73.93% level. That was your highs back in 2020 that you got some nice rejections from, so I would definitely keep that area in mind. And then overall, I do think that you can still play some of these levels to the downside and get some nice moves off them. So what do I mean by that? Well, overall here on this chart, we had an accumulation, slash distribution range form up here on this chart. So if price action gets a retest of this zone, this is an area where I would be looking to load up on altcoins. Okay, so I'm going to mark this area on my chart as an interesting area to load up on alts, because if we get a move up to this level, guys, then I would be definitely looking for price action to bearishly retest, hopefully, and then come back down for a larger pullback before maybe a higher low. But I really do think, just like in November of 2024, like how you could have capitalized off of this move here. Let's see, November 2024, where are you? Yeah. You could have capitalized off this move here. You could get something similar to capitalize off this move here. Same exact scenario. Alts could go crazy for a period of time here. And so definitely have this level marked at like 71% on your chart, because if we do get a move up to there, I would be looking for it to be a bearish retest and for price to potentially come down as long as it doesn't reclaim. And then alts could go crazy and we could have a little fun. So keep an eye on the charts, guys. Keep an eye on this chart, and definitely, like, overall over the next like couple months, don't get out of the space. Don't start getting bored with things. Don't, even if price action goes sideways, just keep pushing and keep trying to find new opportunities out there, because there's always going to be that. And as long as you're staying stuck to the charts, as long as you aren't fading things, as long as you're trying to keep learning and you have your levels marked, I think you could make some good money over the next couple months. Just because if you guys did miss this past couple of weeks run on Ethereum and some altcoins, I do think you can still do very well over the next couple months. You just got to be able to have your tools lined up and be ready for whatever happens. All right, guys, perfect. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We looked at Bitcoin, ETH, and a couple of altcoins, and we looked at some interesting tools that I would like you guys to keep in mind. And I do think that a big thing that you guys should just be aware of, whenever it comes to the sell in May phenomenon, like I started with this video, while I do think it's possible for coins to come down and for prices to get larger pullbacks, I do think those pullbacks could be some potential buy opportunities. So if you are looking for pullbacks on some charts right now, I would be looking to chart out some coins, especially altcoins. We looked at the alt season index and be looking to buy the dip on those. That's what I'm going to be doing. And so am I going to sell in May and go away? On some coins, yes, like things like Solana, even some things like Bitcoin that have all hit some important resistance levels. Those are some things that I'm going to be looking to sell in May. But stuff like, you know, some of these altcoins we looked at, like even Ethereum, Maker, with coin, if we get larger pullbacks on those, I will be looking to play those for some nice percent moves even over the summer. And so even if volatility is low, I think we could have some good opportunity out there. All right, guys, perfect. If you guys stayed till the end of this video, put in the comment section, sell in May. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll catch you guys for another video very soon. Peace.